What's up, y'all? Welcome into the warm-up show here on Grind City Media. I'm Lane Whitaker. He's Michael Wallace. We are courtside at FedEx Forum, where the 44-29 Memphis Grizzlies are getting ready to take on the 44-29 Los Angeles Lakers in a battle for a playoff spot here in the Western Conference with only, 10 games to go for most teams around the league. It's good to see you, Mike.
Hey, likewise, likewise.
And let's talk a little bit about the Grizzlies coming into this game. Played at Oklahoma City last game on Thursday night. It was a close game, back and forth, third quarter. Thunder pull away at the end, win at 125-104. Jaren finally got going, 27 points. Dez struggled, had a tough game. Grizzlies went 1-4 on that long road trip, 5 games that they were on, the longest of the season. Lakers are coming in having lost 4 of their last 5 also, but their last game was that buzzer beater. They lost to the Chicago Bulls. Josh Giddey hit a half-court shot to beat them. Tough way to go down. Gave up 12 points in the last, I think, 9 seconds, 10 seconds, something like that. So it was a tough loss there. But overshadowing all that stuff, on Friday it was announced the Grizzlies were going to part ways with Taylor Jenkins, the coach for the last 7 seasons. He's the winningest coach in Grizzlies history. Excuse me. Somebody that we both worked with a lot over the years and have gotten to know. Going into the announcement on Friday, the Grizzlies have been great against sub-500 teams, against over 500 teams, hadn't gone so well. And so the Grizzlies made a coaching change, let go with Taylor Jenkins, and Tuomas Iisalo has come in to be the new head coach. But let's talk about Taylor for a minute.
Yeah.
What was your just initial reaction when you heard about this?
Shocked. I mean, we all knew that the numbers defensively were trending in the wrong direction since the All-Star break, since the trade deadline. We also knew that this team has not played well against teams that are in the playoff hunt, the postseason hunt, and they needed to turn that around. We know that Taylor Jenkins was a relentless worker. He was going to continue to stop that tree down. The Grizzlies figured this out. But once you get to 5, 6, 7 seasons, you start to wonder, is that voice wearing on you? Yeah. And if the numbers are trending in the wrong direction, then the Grizzlies made a bold and prudent move to do this now. I'm not a fan of the move. Just because I know Taylor and I like the guy, I don't want to see this type of thing happen, but I also don't run the organization. Yeah. And they have to make a decision that's best for all parties involved. And right now, this was one of those moves that they got to figure out, okay, look, how do we stop the bleeding first, salvage as much as we can of this season second, and then plan to move forward third after that, and we'll see if it works.
Taylor Jenkins leaves with a 240 and 214 record. Also coached the most games in franchise history of anybody. Became the winningest coach a couple months ago.
Yes.
At the game here. But yeah, like you said, there's 13 teams that are over 500. The Grizzlies were 11-20 against those teams. And guess what? In the playoffs, you play a lot of teams that are over 500.
Yeah.
So I think this was made clearly with an eye toward the playoffs, which are right around the corner.
But you also, it's a gamble because now you're disrupting everything continuity-wise. And one of the things that we've talked about in the last 24 hours is where this team is emotionally. Can they overcome something like this happening, which is unprecedented at this point in the season? 9 games left. You're going into your most difficult homestand with the Lakers tonight, the defending on Monday, and Golden State Warriors on Tuesday, and now you're fighting to keep your playoff hopes alive to maintain a home court advantage or get a home court advantage seed. That's a lot to disrupt, but the Grizzlies made the decision to do it. I believe in these guys, especially if Ja Morant is available and healthy, which he's trending towards being tonight, and you'll see what they do tonight against a Lakers team that hadn't proven anything else either for the most part.
Yeah. So what's next with Taylor Jenkins gone? The Grizzlies announced that assistant coach Tuomas Iisalo will take over. He was he's first year here as an assistant coach, but previous head coach in Paris, coached across Europe. He's from Finland originally. Told me that he learned English slang from reading Slam magazine as a kid in Finland. I asked him, I was like, how did you get Slam in Finland? He said there was one bookstore in Helsinki he could order it. And he used to go as a kid and order Slam, and he would read all the front of the book and learn English from all that.
Oh, wow.
He said that and watching Bold and the Beautiful.
That'll do it for you. That'll do it for you.
He was a wildly successful coach in Europe, won a couple championships there, had an incredible offense. We heard him just now talk to the media for the first time. What was your takeaway from listening to him?
That he's prepared, that he was also respectful of everything that Coach Taylor Jenkins has done. This is a guy that came in under Taylor's staff. He just got here this season. Yeah. So he's had to not only learn the culture here in America, America. He had to learn the NBA culture, and also trying to figure out these players. We know his system has been successful, but this is a different level of player when you're talking about NBA guys. So, you know, he understands. He's a very measured, you know, his tone is pretty, you know, pretty docile. He's a measured guy in everything he says. He's thoughtful, and I think he's going to really attack this with a professionalism, and he's going to really, really do his best to get these guys turned around. He seems like he's amenable to working with the players at their strengths as opposed to trying to force a system on them.
I like that he said he's very pragmatic.
Yes.
That was a great word. I was like, oh, no, that's such a very descriptive word to hear a coach use. And he said that, you know, the offense they run, that he was kind of more of the pick and roll type guy, not so much the cuts and the other stuff. And so I would assume we're going to probably see them trend a little bit more toward more pick and rolls, more stuff like that.
Which is what we saw the last two times when they won 50-win seasons, right? What we saw when Ja Morant was a second-team All-NBA player, you know, when he was playing with Steven Adams and, you know, Valanciunas and those guys. So I expect to see more of that. Now what's going to happen is how does he tweak the rotation? He didn't want to tip his hand on that, but he obviously has his own ideas.
Something might change in the rotation.
Yes.
Also, like, well, defensively is the other question to me, because if I don't see us help to the free throw line and give up another wide open three on the wing again, I'll be happy. So, like, I don't know if there's little tweaks in there, but he didn't really want to say too much about changes that might be coming. But the main thing he said a lot was that he didn't want to change too much.
Right. You know, because you can't. You got 9 games left. You don't want to give these guys a chemistry test, and they haven't prepared, and they've been preparing for biology all season. Right. You don't want to flip the script on them like that. You want to get them to do what they do. And he said, look, it's about simplifying things. Let's work on what we can. Let's prepare for what the opponents want to do and take something away, and then let the chips fall where they may. I mean, this team, you know, has been a 50-win team before. This core, when they're healthy, you know, they're 28-13 when Ja is playing. So we also know that they have some upside, and you know, there's a chance. But this is going to be no room for error, no margin for error against some of the elite teams in the league.
As far as Ja playing tonight, we still don't have a definitive answer on that.
Sort of definitive.
Sort of. Okay.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
But we do, you mentioned the core, and it's sort of been overshadowed the last 5 days with everything else going on. Brandon Clarke suffered a knee injury since we did our last show here. It didn't look like much. He just kind of fell down, hit his knee on the floor. But Brandon Clarke suffered a knee injury, is now out for the season. And that's a significant part of this team's core, don't you think?
It is. He's one of the biggest veterans. The 3 longest tenured Grizzlies are Jaren Jackson Jr., Ja Morant, and Brandon Clarke. Those were the guys that this thing was built around. His energy, his athleticism, and everything that he brings to the table finally got back to what he needed it to be coming off of that Achilles. And as we see here, I mean, it was just an unfortunate issue against the Portland Trail Blazers. The injury is similar to what Steven Adams went through a couple seasons ago when he was with the Grizzlies. And the sad part about it is that, Brandon, this could end up costing him the start of next season, you know, if surgery is required this offseason, and he just went through that. So that's 3 straight seasons down, disrupted by either an injury or recovering from one. And hopefully he can make it back. I know spiritually he's right in the right place, and he has a chance to do it.
And I think we saw the Grizzlies often go to him in that closing lineup because he could switch screens. His defense was very helpful. What the new coach
and he knew what he was offensively too. Once you get him around the paint, he knew where his spots were, and he was a great lob finisher.
Didn't force three-pointers.
Didn't force anything outside of his comfort zone. He knew who he was and what this team needed from him, and that's going to be a huge void to fill right there. Hopefully some guys can step up.
So for the injuries tonight, we know Ja Morant is at the moment questionable or doubtful, but Coach Iisalo said that he was going to give it a shot and come out and warm up, and we'll see a game-time decision. Marvin Bagley is still questionable with a concussion protocol. But we did just get word that Gigi Jackson and Yuki Kawamura have been called up from the Memphis Hustle and are available tonight for the Memphis Grizzlies. We'll see what sort of, if those guys factor in the lineups at all or whatever Coach Iisalo wants to do. Also for the Lakers, Austin Reeves questionable, but I saw him working out. And Maxi Kleber out with a right foot surgery recovery. That's all that stuff. We got through that.
You got Luka, you got LeBron.
Yeah, Luka. We haven't even mentioned Luka Doncic and LeBron James. We're 10 minutes into this thing because we've been talking about the Grizzlies. We'll get to those guys later. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Rob Fisher's going to join us. You're watching the warm-up show here on Grind City Media.
In honor of George Foreman, decided to do a pick six on 6 greatest heavyweight boxers of all time.
Number 4, my guy, Mike Tyson. There is no greater feat that I've had. Like if I had my Mount Rushmore of things that I've accomplished in my life, the very first time I beat Mike Tyson in Mike Tyson Punch-Out.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
The new issue of Slam, the cover dropped, and it is our friend Jaren Jackson Jr. on the cover.
And shout out to you, Lane.
Yeah.
You kept, well, I mean, we knew about it, but you kept this a secret the whole time. So shout out to you for
I wrote
putting
this story.
together.
We did the photo shoot a couple weeks ago here on a Sunday afternoon in the practice court. The Sneak Fest show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
I see people who look like me and were born probably in the same decade as me, watching all of these young people jump into the transfer portal and saying it's ridiculous. You got to stop thinking about this like it's a normal college experience. It is not. You know what the priority is? Maximize your earning potential for every year of eligibility you have left. That's what this is about now. These are jobs.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Yesterday was the talk of the town. It was a cow on the side of the road.
Do you live close to a movie theater? I'm just curious because maybe the cow was trying to go to the movies.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt, live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Now you can turn it down. Now it's very loud. You can turn it down. Welcome back to the warm-up show here on Grind City Media. I'm Lang Whitaker. Now I'm here with Rob Fisher. And we were just talking with Michael. Just a few things.
Couple things,
in Grizz Nation for the last few days. You were on the road trip with the team, 1-4 finish on the road trip. What were the positives that you saw on that road trip? Were there any?
Yeah, second half of the Utah game. I mean, you know, we had press conferences post games where we kept talking about, you know, having effort for 3 quarters or for 2 quarters, and you were still trying to find that for 4 quarters. Well, you found it for 2 against Utah, and they were great. I mean, maybe the best half of basketball they played all year against the Jazz. And they took that into Oklahoma City and played really well for 3 quarters. We're right there with the Thunder, and then just a total disaster for the 4th quarter. So it was, you know, I thought that half in Utah was good. I thought the start of the game in Oklahoma City was really good, and hopefully they can, you know, duplicate what they did there going forward. And I think that's something they want to try to duplicate, is that sort of effort.
So Friday, the Grizzlies parted ways with Taylor Jenkins. What was your reaction when you heard?
Surprised, I think, like everybody else. Mainly because of the timing of everything. With 9 games left in the season, and you have a team that's tied for 4th in the Western Conference. I mean, it is shocking that you make a move at this point. But you know, Zach Kleiman basically just came out and said urgency is one of our core principles, and you know, he felt like a change needed to be made right now. And you know, it'll be really interesting to see what happens with this team, because it can go a couple of ways. You know, do the guys take blame? You know, do they put it on themselves, and does it kind of, you know, click the switch for you, and you get going, or do you just kind of, you know, we're in the dumps, you know? And hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully it's something that kind of maybe gets them going a little bit here.
Well, the new interim head coach, Tuomas Iisalo, talked just a little bit ago to the media, and he talked about what he's doing to try to connect with these guys and get them going heading into these last 9 games. Can we watch a video of that?
Reached out to a bunch of players already yesterday, because like I think every one of us there's the emotional component is very strong. Like Coach Jenkins, Saint, Noah, great people, you know, not only very important pieces to the organization, but also very good people who have been, for some of these guys, some of our players, like only coaches during their professional careers. So So it's obviously the first thing you discuss is just the emotions and getting over that. And then the second part, it's like there's a lot of you guys also here. There's clearly like noise now around the team, and that's something that can also be a destabilizing factor for the whole team. And we just talked about it, like control the controllables. There will be other talking points hopefully in a few days, and let's do what we do best, which is our own job. And then we talked about also the time constraints, what we want to do, that how we want to approach it day by day. Okay, one practice at a time. We had about 35-40 minute shoot around this morning. We just said, okay, let's make the best out of that. Let's get those 40 minutes. Let's not waste them, and that way we can make progress day by day. So that's the timeline that we're working with.
So he said he was pragmatic, and I think you saw it in that clip. He was very practical about, we don't have a lot of time. It's going to be hard to change a lot of things. I would guess, I don't know, what do you think? Probably the easiest way to change things, which is going to be with minutes, don't you think?
Yeah, and I think that's going to be a big part of it. He even talked about that a little bit later on in his press conference about, different rotate. When you're a head coach, one of the biggest changes is rotations in minutes. So I would expect we'll see a little bit of a change. Now, he was the interim coach earlier this year against the Lakers, and there weren't many changes. But he said that's because he was just filling in for a game and just kind of a placeholder. He said now it's different. Now I'm the head coach. So he's going to be making those decisions and, what sort of changes might be made in the rotation. But I think that's certainly something to watch tonight.
John Moran is out here on the court behind us. I don't know if you heard the huge cheer. That wasn't for us. He came out to go through his pregame warm-ups, and we'll see if he's good to go or not. It sounds like he's trending toward being able to play. Coach Iisalo, I was speaking to him earlier. He told me he learned slang from Slam magazine.
There you go. How about that?
I got a nickname for him. Tell me what you think. The Finisher.
The Finisher. I don't know.
He's from Finland.
I know. I'll give you a little tease on the Nugget tonight. He is the first Finnish coach in NBA history, and he ties the NHL for the number of Finnish head coaches there have been. One, in NBA and NHL.
This is when Rosa would yell like Timu Solani or somebody, just some random Finnish guy. I don't know. We'll see, I guess, what changes are afoot. I mean, it's going to be hard because there's only 9 games left, and there's very few practices.
Said, one of the things that he told Pete in his conversation with Pete that we'll have on Grizzlies Live as well, just to add to that, he said every repetition we do, whether it's practice, whether it's shoot around, whether it's in game, we've got to have high quality, high focus. That's our number one goal right now, and I think it's got to be, because we've just seen a lack of focus with the number of turnovers and defensive assignments and things like that. So hopefully that's something that'll get through.
Before you get out of here, you and I are baseball guys.
Yeah.
Baseball's here. The season's here. What's your level of concern with the Cardinals so far? It's only been 2 games.
Yeah, and so far they're, 2-0?
Yeah. Braves are 0-2.
My level of concern is very high. They're just not very good.
Oh, mine's through the roof with our bullpen.
Cardinals don't have a very good starting 5, and they don't have a very good lineup, so that does not bode well.
Our first game of the season was tie game going into the 7th, and Brian Snitker brought in the worst reliever on the roster. Are you serious? Guess what? Gave up 3 runs right away.
Game 1.
Game 1.
And then the Yankees are cheating with these bats.
Yeah, what's going on with the Yankees? They have the big bats.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like the big red wiffle ball bats.
It's a little bit. I think there's something untoward with that.
Yeah, we need to look into that for sure. After 9 home runs today.
That's good. They went with 20-9. Is that the final score?
Yeah.
Did we get a position player pitching? That's our.
I don't know. I don't know if we did. I don't know.
I bet we did. The Angels had one on opening day against the White Sox.
Oh my God.
Opening day.
That's never
it's
a good
the White
sign.
Sox.
Yeah. White Sox over 500 for the first time since 2023.
Like that.
Yeah. How about that?
All right. You can catch Rob Fisher in 10 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
John Moran and Marvin Bagley are available tonight against the Lakers, so that's official. You can catch Rob in about 10 minutes on FanDuel Sports Network with Grizzlies Live.
That's right.
And then the game at 7 o'clock will be Rob, Pete, and Brennan.
That's right. So tune in FanDuel Sports Network tonight. Looking forward to it.
Here's a teaser on Monday night. You get an hour-long warm-up show with Rob Fisher. Big part of that show.
Is that true?
It's true.
Oh, my God.
Hour-long. Because TNT has the broadcast.
That's right.
We're going to make Rob work.
I'll be here.
Appreciate you, Rob.
Hopefully talking about a big win tonight.
Let's hope so, too.
Yep.
All right, we'll take one more break. We'll come back with Michael Wallace. You're watching the warm-up show here on Grind City Media.
Tony was the defensive guy, but Zebo was the offensive guy. So you could speak to this. It's way worse when you're getting doubled, right?
You got triple. I had went through that for it when I was in Portland.
You had me on the team. You got triple.
Feel me, Rose? You can't talk about those. You got to talk about triples.
You got triple team.
This man was scoring on 3 dudes.
Swing, TA.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. I need cameras to capture every waking moment between Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston on the same team. The pregame prayers will be generational.
Because that's preacher and a deacon. That's what we're talking about here. That prayer's going to be 40 minutes. We're going to miss the anthem.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt, live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
I never in a million years would have ever thought that John Cena's final run would be as a heel.
I love it.
I love it.
Once they saw this from The Rock.
They knew it. Everybody knew it except for Cody, which was so good.
Great camera work by
And then the
WWE.
kick. Yeah, I don't think WWE gets enough credit for the camera work and the production quality. I mean, it is incredible.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Can't even wait. It's time to get it popping. It's going to be crazy. The fans are going to be loud. We need just energy.
We're going to need, the form rocking. We're going to need, everybody in Memphis to be out there and come to support.
When the fans are good, we're good. Simple as that.
A Bane three, yes sir! Desmond Bane with ice water in his veins.
We'll ride the energy together.
Welcome back to the warm-up show here on Grind City Media. Lane Whitaker, Michael Wallace here. We got about 10 minutes to get you over to the broadcast for tonight's game with the Grizzlies and the Lakers. And like we always do at this time, we go around the NBA to look at some of the bigger stories and topics. And the Lakers are here. What in the world is going on with Stephen A. Smith? LeBron James.
Hey, all the big stories are right here, right?
Yeah,
The Lakers
so.
and the Grizzlies, right? You know what, man? It's gotten to the point where you wish that the last word was the last word. LeBron explained what he was, what his mindset was, and then Stephen A. came back and said what he did, and now it's just gotten. It's become a unprofessional, weird troll job. I hate to see these guys have to go back and forth about it like this. LeBron knew what he was doing when he went on Pat McAfee's show. He knew how that was going to make Stephen A. feel, and now Stephen A. is not going to he's using other guys on his own show to take shots at LeBron that may be fair or unfair. It's just, I don't like it, but at the end of the day, man, it's nothing to do with basketball. It's about two guys stoking their egos, and here we are.
The worst part about it to me is my guy Brian Windhorst caught a stray. Windhorst didn't deserve that. He got caught a stray in the middle of all that.
And working with these guys, I know Brian Windhorst. I worked with him daily for 4 years in Miami when LeBron came to Miami for the Heat Index. And Brian will be the first to tell you, listen, I wouldn't be in the position I'm in if it wasn't for the luck of me crossing paths with LeBron.
Going to high school
His
with
mother taught LeBron James English. Right, and they went to the same high school. So, this was a situation where I thought LeBron was kind of dismissive in it. I thought his comment kind of got overblown. He's used weird, but it was just, I also know LeBron really respects Brian Windhorst, and he said it time and time again across the course of his career. So, it is what it is. But hopefully we can move on from it. That's one of those storylines. Okay, enough already.
I am too. We have a Finnish coach taking over the Grizzlies. Rob Fisher said it's the first Finnish coach in the history of the NBA.
Okay.
He ties the NHL. They've each had one Finnish coach.
Okay.
But the NBA is talking about Europe, and they've been talking about Europe for a while.
Yes.
But it's not expansion. It's a new league.
Yes.
They want to have a league over in Europe. They've been talking about it, and this week Adam Silver said that it's something they're seriously considering. Going to explore the idea, partner with FIBA. 16 teams was the number I heard thrown around, but I don't know. What's your take on all this? What do you think?
I think European basketball is pretty strong as is, right? I don't know if you're going to infiltrate that market and put a rival against what's already there, right? Eurobasket and all of these leagues, and their scheduling is so, intricate and complicated sometimes. I don't know how well that's going to work. I mean, is it going to be out of the G League version of Europe?
Yeah.
Where are those teams feeding into? Is the basketball appetite globally that deep? Wow. But, yeah, so it's one of those things where if Adam Silver is thinking it, he's a smart guy. He's a great businessman, and we'll see. But I would love – let's get the NBA expansion, whatever that discussion is, settled first.
I wonder if it could be like guys are playing until they're so old now. Maybe like you age out of the NBA, you go to Europe for a couple of years, live in Paris, spend 2 years, a guy, Kevin Love, somebody like that. Like, you get too old to play here.
Yeah.
They don't need the money, but maybe it's like a lifestyle change or,
right.
or it's a way to get into coaching or, get reps doing something else too. So I don't know.
I mean, the NBA is definitely heavily influenced by European
for sure.
Talent now. And we've gotten to the point where if you're going to do that, then let's just go ahead and fix the All-Star game. Go NBA, America versus Europe, or America versus the world, and see where it goes from there.
You just read my mind because our third topic.
Yeah.
Adam Silver also said we got to fix the All-Star game.
Yes.
He said that what they tried didn't work at this last All-Star. He apologized for the TNT 20-minute tribute
show.
in the middle of the show. He was like, look, it was our chance to give TNT a thumbs up basically on the way out and everything, but clearly it took away from the game. He said that he's going to try to make it part of the NBC Olympic coverage. Might be part of the idea. He doesn't know exactly what, but he called it a miss. And I think that's probably the first step, right? Like, that's realizing that you got to fix something.
This is the second year in a row that he's had to fix and admit that something's wrong with the All-Star game. How many cracks at it do you need before you just say, hey, this isn't working as a concept whatsoever?
Yeah.
I didn't think it was horrible. I just thought that the in-game issues and activations were a problem. I didn't mind seeing the 4-team sort of mini tournament. I thought it brought out some competitiveness from that standpoint, but there still are some more tweaks that are needed for sure.
All right, well, that gets us through all that stuff. We talked briefly that the Lakers and the Grizzlies are kind of in the same place, and they're both 44 and 29, both fourth place in the Western Conference. Give me one matchup you got your eye on tonight.
Man, Ja Morant coming back out now, and I want to see who he defends from the Lakers. I mean, this is a Lakers team that has a non-traditional lineup. There's going to be nowhere to hide him defensively, and is that hamstring going to hold up? So does he take Luka? He definitely won't take LeBron. We'll see how they line up in terms of the perimeter. But the Lakers are so big across the board, so strong. I want to see what Ja versus his hamstring. Where is it and what is his minutes? And I want to see that matchup.
Well, sometimes the best defense is a good offense, right? Yeah. And if Ja's back at 100% or close to it, hopefully he's able to affect the game in a way and make some changes.
Last time we saw him on this court, he had a season-high 44
against
a great Cleveland defense too, right?
Yeah.
So,
and right when he got injured, he had that spell where he wasn't playing great, and he said, "I got to find my rhythm." He was starting to find it, if not having found it.
Yep.
So maybe that's something that he'll be able to
averaging 31.5 points a game in the March games that he's played.
I'm just worried about Rui Hachimura. That dude's a Grizz killer. Every time we play him, no matter what team he's on.
Austin Reeves as well.
Yeah, Austin Reeves.
Yeah.
Dorian Finney-Smith has some games against us. They got a lot of guys, so we'll see if the Grizzlies are able to contain all those guys. All right.
Big-time game.
Big game. And all this other stuff's kind of overshadowed that it's an important game to win. The Grizzlies need a win tonight.
I mean, look, you see they're coming off the 1-4 road trip, right? The Lakers are coming off 2 buzzer beaters, 2 emotional high minutes
in their last 5.
In their last 5 too. So, and they're both knocked in 44 and 29. The number 4 seed, which is home court advantage in the first round, is at stake. The Grizzlies need to win this game or else they lose the season series and the tiebreaker as well too. So they have to give themselves a win tonight to even up the series at 2-2, and then hope to get some help as well that they can move ahead of the Lakers. So this game is key, huge for the Grizzlies.
All right, so you got about 30 seconds. We'll kick you over. If you want to listen on the radio, you listen to Mike and Eric, Hasseltine, and Bennett and Roser on the call tonight. Over on FanDuel Sports Center, we've got Fish, Pete, Brevin, and Chris Vernon. And we'll be back for an hour on Monday when the Grizzlies host the Boston Celtics. We'll be from 5:30 to 6:30. We'll be in the studio. It's going to be totally different, but it's still going to be great, and we hope you join us.
First 3,000 on Monday.
Oh, yeah,
you
get
Grizz
a watch.
Grizz watch. First 3,000.
And watch us leave right now because it's time for us to go. Appreciate you joining us. You've been watching the warm-up show here on Grind City Media.